Do I need a will? Is one of the questions I frequently get asked as an attorney. So today I'm going to speak to you about how a will works and whether or not you may need one. You'll be surprised by my answers. I'm also going to share the number one unknown fact about wills. So stay tuned. First, let me introduce myself. I'm attorney Alexis Hart McDowell. I'm a business and real estate attorney here in Chicago. I'm also licensed in New York and Georgia. I help real estate investors run their businesses and raise their profits through business and legal strategies. Today, we're going to talk about whether or not you need a will. Now, a lot of people think that they need a will in order to help dispose of their assets the way that they want it to be disposed when they pass away. And that is true in some respects. But did you know the number one unknown fact about wills is that a will send you to probate? That's right. A will send you to probate court. So the goal is to transfer your assets outside of probate so that your heirs, your children, your parents, whomever, do not have the expense or the time consumption that going to probate court will cause. All right. So what I tell clients are, number one, let's make a list of your assets. List your house, your cars, bank accounts, brokerage statements, whatever you have. Let's just make a list of it. Now, as an example, the typical person has one house, one or two cars, a bank account, and possibly a brokerage account, meaning a retirement account or some other stock account. So once we write those items down, we want to dispose of each one of those outside of probate or outside of our will. We don't want to say, I leave my house to Johnny Mac. I leave my bank account to Susie Mae. We don't want to leave that in a will because that's going to have to be probated for that to be finalized. What we want to do is transfer the title of those assets either while you're alive or posthumously after your death, and there's ways to do that, so that they don't have to go to probate. So let's get back to our example. First, we have a house, right? Well, you can transfer title to your house outside of probate. Here, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can do a deed transfer, which means you can take the house out of your name and transfer it to the person you want it to go to, or you can just add that person to your deed so that when you pass away, they automatically get the house. They don't have to go to probate because their name is on the deed. Another way of doing this is through a transfer on death instrument, also called a toady. And what a toady is a form that you fill out that says, hey, upon my death, I want my property to go to ABC. That form is then recorded in the county office where your property is located. Upon your death, the person simply needs to fill out an affidavit and have it recorded saying, I accept title to this property. That's it. That's all. You don't have to go to probate court. The next thing we want to talk about are bank accounts. Now, bank accounts if you have money in your bank accounts, you want to go to your bank and you want to have them put a payable on death order on your account, or a POD, meaning upon your death, this particular person that you specify gets access to your bank account. Okay. You can also put someone on your bank account. And I know that scares a lot of people because if they have access to your bank account, they have access to your money. Okay. So a payable on death order is probably a better way to go so that the bank knows who should have access to your funds upon your death, right? The next thing that you can do is use a trust, right? You can put your property in a trust as well and designate beneficiaries. And upon your death, the trust is still intact and those beneficiaries then own the property as well. So that's a third way. Another thing that you can do is put beneficiaries on your account. Retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, IRAs, they all have beneficiaries. So make sure your beneficiary paperwork is up to date and completed. And whoever you designate as your beneficiary will get the funds in that account outside of probate, outside of your will. They will have access, they'll file the forms that are required, and then they will have access to those funds. So the only thing that you really want left in your will after you transfer these big ticket items outside of your will are personal items, such as your clothes, memorabilia, jewelry, because you don't necessarily have to probate that, because nobody's going to spend thousands of dollars to probate where your clothes go. Okay? They're going to say, oh, in the will it says Susie May needs to get the clothes. Well, whoever you designate as the executor of your estate should give the clothes to Susie May if Susie May wants them. That way, the family isn't enduring the expense and the time associated with going to probate over the items that are left over. The biggest things people fight over are houses, bank accounts, and retirement accounts. So once you dispose of those the way that you want to be disposed of while you're alive, there's nothing left for families to fight over. And take it from me, I have seen it all too often. Death brings out the worst in people, and people will fight over every dollar. People, you will have cousins coming out of the woodwork. So let's cut all the drama out. Let's keep all the clamor down, and you determine who you want to have your assets while you are alive. All right. So hopefully that answers your question as to whether or not you need a will. Some instances people need them, and some instances they do not. But the best thing that you can do for you and your legacy is to schedule a consultation with me. I'm at enterpriseesquire.com/calendar. Sign up for a consultation, and we'll walk through these steps with you to figure out the best strategy to transfer your assets the way that you want and to leave the legacy that you want. All right. So enterpriseesquire.com/calendar. I'm attorney Alexis Hart McDowell, and thank you for joining me. Take care.